Hello, beautiful people. How are you? Have the energies been kicking you in the ass? Yeah, us too. But it's motivation, right? Because you know things are happening. Every day that we have these big, massive energy spikes means, and it has meant for a couple years now, that Christ consciousness frequency is being shoved all over the planet. Higher consciousness frequency. Whether people were aware of it or not, just flowing around, just flowing around. So you can go back and look at some of my videos, but there's a lot of people that do the astrology updates and the Schumann breakdown a lot better than I do. I'm just aware of it. And I give them all the credit. Thank you for bringing all that information to us. Um, but yeah, the big spikes of energy that you see on the Schumann, some people don't know what that means. And it's been heavily recorded since 2012 when the archangels and the Galactic Federation of Light deflected the big solar flash that was flare that was happening in 2012. There is documented evidence that this flare was headed to Earth and then was deflected by something. You know, NASA never wants to spill the beans on the truth. I don't even know if they know what truth means anymore, but whatever. We have been given time. Source creator, Mother Sophia, we have been given time, the gift of time. We've been given 12 additional years to get in alignment and really start waking up. So there's a card, an oracle card. It says, trust the wave you came in on. And I definitely want to encourage you to trust the wave you came in on because you are at where you are supposed to be right now. You are not late. You did not miss the party. It is perfect timing for you. My interpretation of divine timing is that the divine waits for the being to be ready, to become ready for the thing, then they merge. There's not some predetermined date and time for your blessings on a divine calendar of sorts. We are the only ones that have calendars, really. So I want to encourage you not to give up. I want to encourage you that things definitely are changing and for the better. Couple of items I want to make sure you're aware of. Starting about conservatively, I'll say 8 weeks ago, there was a big push. Our ground crew was doing a lot of coordinated love waves that we sent out throughout the universe. And the effects, the ripple effects, we heard back from the archangels, we heard back from our inner earth allies, we heard back from Middle Earth, otherwise known as the underworld. We heard from Source Creator, Mother Sophia, like, wow, these energies that you have sent, it looks like infinities made of rainbows, and they're just going out throughout the universe. And that love energy is the most powerful energy that you can share, right? Love is the key to transforming and transitioning everything to the higher dimension. So we were super pumped. We are like, yeah, let's keep doing it. And then we got the message, okay, enough, because we did it daily for a while. And everything that we do, it takes time to ripple through the ether, right? To come down into the lower dimensions. And so we were told to tap the brakes, and not that what we were doing was needed to stop, but the universe needed to catch up, basically, give people the opportunity to get caught up on the good things that we were doing. And this came after a lot of battles that we won. And after cleaning up, in effect, energetically, the universe. And I don't say that through conceit or pride or anything like that. I say that like quite literally. We took it from our guidance, from Source Creator, and I don't really know what my hair is doing today. And we went methodically, level by level, and area by area, and subgroup by subgroup. And we started many, many, many months back. And so the culmination of all that brought us to, let's send out some big waves of love and see what this love can do. So then we were told to pause. And we're like, okay. So we did some good. We're just waiting to see the fruits of our labor. And that in between time sucks. Okay. Because you know the effort that you put through doing some good, positive work. And we do it in a flash, right? It's quantum, it's immediate, but then it has to trickle down. And that waiting on the trickle down energy, it's kind of frustrating. Anyway, so a couple weeks ago, maybe 3 weeks ago, because time is hard to define for me anymore, I got that the collective consciousness level of humanity, of the entire planet, was hovering around 250, 300, which was amazeballs, because we had been just festering in that 100 and below, where everything is guilt and shame and pain and anger and frustration and all the things that keep us on this negative time loop and negative information loop where we feel we are stuck. That's where everybody's collective consciousness level was. Obviously, groups like us and many of the light workers and way showers and star seeds and energy healers, and those are big spikes. Those are big high spikes of high frequency that help to elevate the frequency of those around you. But I'm talking about an average, a collective consciousness over all of humanity, over the planet, was around 300 a couple weeks back. Well, then I sensed that it was really raising, and it was like 500. And I was like, holy shit, we're entering into the higher consciousness level. So frequency is rising, and all the bad shit's not going to be able to tolerate our frequency, and they're going to bug out, like literally bug out. And this morning I checked, and we're just above 1100. Okay, enlightenment is 1,000. 1100 is where the collective consciousness is. That's why you're seeing all these groups, the GFL, the Galactic Alliance, all your different in-tuned, in-touch channelers, your angel channelers. They're all talking about massive shifts in frequency. This is what they're feeling. This is what they're also getting. It is not just coming from me. So I want you to understand that. I sense shifts. I sense them around the planet. I sense them in people. I sense them in places. I sense energetic shifts very, very easily. Other people do too. I'm not unique in that. I just figure shit out because of my abilities. So now, enlightenment is not the end. Enlightenment is the beginning. Enlightenment is where the doors open and you have the path before you to ascend. Great news, right? Congratulations. Good job, everybody that's been doing this. I'm super proud of you. We still have a lot of work to do. So I want to just run down a few things. I'm going to leave the astrology stuff to the people that are really great and good at it, because I'm not. And I'm going to leave the Schumann stuff to the people that are really great and good at it, because I'm not. But what I'm really good at is giving some synopsis, maybe a prediction here or there, and we'll see what happens. You game? Okay. So we've got our collective consciousness up where the split between lower frequency and higher frequency is occurring. Some of the things that we're going to see are just like people that you encounter that are really low frequency can't stand to be around you. Well, that is no longer going to be an option. Okay, so they're going to have to stay away from you, otherwise they are in pain. It's physically detrimental to a lower frequency being to be in that drastic of a frequency mismatch. Okay, so some of the lower um, animals that we deal with, I don't know if you've even thought about this, like mosquitoes. I would be really, really happy to never see a mosquito again, and certainly don't want them biting me anymore. And they are going away. They are lower frequency animals. They can't exist in a higher frequency dimension. So you will see them decrease in number, and eventually you won't see them anymore. Houseflies, you will continue to see them, but they will have a different characteristic about them. Animals that are low frequency will cease to exist in our dimension. Higher frequency animals that can't exist in lower frequency animals will become noticeable. So we will see new animals, new species, new plants, and new beings, because the frequency dictates who and what can survive in the dimension. Righty. So again, I know I always have to give the trigger warning. Trigger warning. Not everything that has a heartbeat has a soul. I know it's hard to accept sometimes. The truth is like a big gut punch, but it's true. So those that have souls are coming with. The souls may leave whatever animal they've been in, go to a different animal, or maybe it's their time to level up or whatever. All individual. Don't worry about a thing. Everything's happening the way it's supposed to happen. Sun looks different. Sky looks a little different. Everything's looking a little adjusted, let's just say, because we're in the in-between. We haven't fully separated, but it's happening. Now, rebirth. That is what we're headed into, is the rebirth. Rebirth of government, rebirth of education, rebirth of healthcare. You see it crumbling now. Well, when things crumble, there's a resurgence, a rebirth, a renewal. That is what we're going through. We're not going to rebuild and restart anything that does not serve our highest and best good. That is how we build and co-create New Earth. In the fifth dimension, I have a life there already. You, if you have a soul, have a life there probably already. We will merge with that existence. So, 1:11 on the clock. I was Nicole in this life. I chose that name, chose my family, chose my birthday, chose all those things for this incarnation, for this soul contract. This soul contract ended a few months back. I've been in the in-between, waiting on events to happen, waiting on the frequencies to adjust, waiting on all sorts of different chess moves to play out. Now, I will merge and fully become the fifth dimensional, higher dimensional self. The being that I have been known as this life ceases to exist, goes away by choice. Okay, no, that's not happening. Now, there are some soul contracts that didn't want anything to do with transition, didn't want anything to do with ascending, again, didn't want anything to do with that. So they soul contracted to exit at this time, whatever that looks like. So a lot of people soul contracted to wake others up by being vaxxed and having all the injuries and leaving by way of those injuries. So stop judging people because you don't know what their soul contract is. Judging is low vibrational. We should be moving out of judgment and moving into acceptance anyway. Understanding what we're dealing with allows you a greater expanse of accepting what is coming at us. See, if you just live with the blinders on and you only look at what you're told to look at, and you only read and see and do what you're told to read and see and do, you're gonna miss the messages and you're gonna miss the magic. It's happening around you. You just got to tune in to the right frequency and tune into the right things, the things that are for you. I venture to say that what's for you today is not the things you've been doing in the past. We are all different beings today than we were even 6 months ago. If you're consistently doing things because you've always done them, and that's your reason for doing them is because you've always done them, it's really past time for you to reevaluate your life. And I'm not saying you're doing things wrong. I'm saying you want to actively decide that you're doing something for your highest and best good or not. Stop going through the motions of the matrix world because that's how they get you. So while you're still playing that game, you're still on their chessboard. You have not leveled up. And it's going to cause more problems for you in the long run. We have lots of 5D babies, lots of 5D pregnancies. My 5D self just had triplets. Everyone that I know in this wonderful reality has had 5D pregnancies, and then just a few weeks or maybe a month later, they're pregnant again because we are seeding new earth. We have to have lots and lots of babies, lots and lots of beings, because we have an entire dimension of the planet to fill up, so to speak. No, it will not happen overnight, but it sure is a wonderful experience to have, to connect with your 5D self. And we are all in our dolphin assisted birthing centers that we helped to create in the fifth dimension. And it was actually going back to it wasn't my idea. It's going back to the ways, Lemuria, the ways of origin, and allowing the frequency of the dolphins and the whales to alleviate most of the pain and communication with the babies. It was very, very, very different experience. And, I was trained nurse and I worked labor and delivery for a while. And so I'm talking to my babies in the fifth dimension and I'm like, okay, you guys check your cords, make sure no cords are around any body parts or necks or anything. And if there was something, okay, you slide that off of there and everybody head down, head down, head down. So if you have not experienced the 5D pregnancy, it's a trip. Now, I wanted to mention that because it's not new. Again, this has been going on for probably about a year and a half or so of beings here with us in this dimension, connecting to their 5D self and having some of those shared pregnancy symptoms. And then through their abilities, they're able to connect that 5D being, and they understand exactly what's happening, and they can talk to babies and the whole thing. It's totally beautiful. So there's that. And I wanted to definitely invite everyone who's in this new wave of waking up to be very, very cautious, because the excitement of finally getting it, finally understanding it, finally having your awakening, and you just want to tell somebody. And that's great. I want you to tell people. I want you to speak your truth. But there's a lot of false light prophets out there that are just trying to get rich. They're just trying to make a buck. They're trying to get the numbers. I don't know what they're doing. I had some like near misses with some of them, and my discernment kicked in and got the fuck away. But they're still out there. So I want you to understand that I have been on a journey for most of my life. Really started when I was like 17 years old. And I just actually finished writing my first book. It should be out on Amazon any moment now. And I go into some of that, of how my journey took me here, there, and yonder, and really prepared me for the fuckery that was in 2020. And it was in that moment that I really, really, really woke up, and I had my own QET session, which cleared my energy body, which allowed me to talk to my higher self, which gave me a clear channel, a clear chakra column. And so I was able to meditate. I was able to pull in my messages that were meant for me. That allowed me to get donkey kicked onto Ascension Highway and dive head first into the shadow work that I had been putting off my entire life. What I have encountered in the false light prophet avenue, they want you to be dependent on them, and they want you to keep coming to them because they are in their ego and they want to have all the answers, and they don't want you to have any sovereignty, is what I have found. And I don't subscribe to that. I will push you and trigger you to do your shadow work. I am very good about calling the spade a spade. And I do it because I had to do it to myself. I didn't have anybody over my shoulder going, you're being judgmental. You're in your ego. You're like, I had to really, really, really double down on what I was doing in shadow work to learn the ways that you really eviscerate your ego. That ego has nothing to do with me anymore. And so I want people to traverse that journey. It is very unique. It is very individual. I want you to have your sovereignty, and I want you to take your power back. I want you to blossom in your abilities. I want you to teach me things whenever you're awakened and you have all the gifts that you were entitled to have and are entitled to have as a sovereign child of light, source light. So big, huge, glaring differences there. I am a realist at the end of the day. Whenever 99% of the population are of the fairy realm, it is a completely different task to help guide shadow work in the fairies. But I've gotten pretty good at it. And we have a bunch of other admins that are also fairies that have walked the walk and talked the talk. Now, there are a few judgmental characters out there that I call shadow work failures, we'll just say. When the going got tough, they projected. When the going got tough, they questioned, judged, projected, and attacked instead of doing their own shadow work. So what people don't understand is when you are continuing to be triggered, when you feel attacked, when you have attacks that are real, but it triggers you, then you have not done all your shadow work. And I get disappointed in people that I've invested a lot of time and energy into, but it doesn't trigger me because I understand it's free will choice. And I understand every conversation I've had with them about their ego that they fucking ignored. It's just the way it is. So I invite you, newcomers to this awakening journey, to please do yourself a favor and start slow. You may have had an affinity for some people in the past, but as your frequency rises, you're going to be able to detect truth and bullshit so much easier. So much easier. They're going to start to spew their blah, 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 blah. And you're going to go, that doesn't sit well with me. It's your intuition. All of our abilities and senses work so much better with our frequency rising. So the collective conscious frequency being over 1100 means the playing field is really changed. These people that refuse to do their shadow work and are hiding behind their ego are not going to have a good time of it. They're not. I am here to tell you. But if you can have a little bit of courage and a whole lot of faith, you too can have this blossoming life through abilities and your senses and your divination and your frequency and just being in touch with your higher self and knowing your soul path and your plan and getting reinforcement, re-encouragement from Mother Sophia and Source Creator. Like when I have a bad day, it is usually like clockwork. My ear pops and it's either my soul mom and father or it's Source and Mother Sophia. And they're coming in hot and they're saying, look, take it down a notch. They know me well. And it's super calming. You know, it's calming. They get it. They get me. They know me. It doesn't mean I give up. It doesn't mean I run the other way, but I definitely do have to take some time and deal with my own shit sometimes. You know, shadow work is not a checklist. Shadow work is a journey. And just when you think you're over the hill, here comes a little speed bump to knock you off your tricycle. So I just want to encourage those that are newly waking up that there are some, me being one, that you can trust to help you find your way. I will not do your work for you. I will not tell you, do this, then do this, then do this. Okay. I'm going to help you connect to your inner truth and recognize it, learn to trust it, help clear out the mud and the muck of the matrix, keep you clean and clear until you can knock your tricycle wheels off and get going on your own. That is the goal. Because we, being the way showers, need to get our shit together so we can actually lead in New Earth. You can't have a bunch of people not knowing how to discern in New Earth when we're interacting with the intergalactic emissaries from other planets and they're like trying to pull a fast one because they will, because we're a human. And then we're just naive because we haven't done our shadow work. We have got to do it. We have got to do the work, and it's not going to kill you. Okay. Pain never killed anyone. Okay. I know it sucks, but it's true. The only way to get through it is to get through it. And once you get through to the other side, things are like, oh, why did I put this off for so long? Why did I carry that weight around my neck for so long? You don't want to keep doing it. I'm telling you, you just don't want to keep doing it. Okay. So it hasn't launched yet, but I have a brand new website that is being built. It's beautiful. Lots of new services, the old faithful services. I have some staff that's coming on board. They're offering their things that they're super wonderful, good at. And that's coming out very, very soon. If you or someone you know is newly waking up, please do yourself a favor and go back through my library of videos. Go back to the very beginning because it's part of my authenticity. I did videos as I was going through my shadow work. So I was learning and doing videos because Source told me to. So there are things that I did and said and thought in the beginning that I learned was not exactly so, but living it and going through it opened up new doors of opportunity to learn and grow and allow my soul to evolve. I did videos with people that were good one day and didn't have a soul the next. Who knew? You know? So you're gonna encounter things like that. To me, that's real life. To me, that's the playing field that we're on right now. And even in the higher dimensions, to a degree, much smaller, there is still fuckery that we still deal with. But it's so much better. It's so much better in so many different ways. So I want to encourage you to hang in there. And I want you to realize things are changing for the better. And there's a lot of chaos out there. But if you are newly waking up, the one thing you have got to do is turn off the noise. That means do not tune into the local news. Do not turn into the national news. Do not tune into the same old YouTube conspiracy theories, hanging them in the streets kind of stuff. Okay. Because those are not providing you with an avenue for spiritual evolution. It is tying you down to the low vibrational feelings of the matrix and making you feel stuck or making you feel volatile. And we don't want that. We want to use our gifts and our abilities for the greater good. And you want to bring positive light. So you want to be introspective now. And you want to really give yourself the best opportunity to grow and evolve. So come visit me, send me a message, send me an email, and I'll be happy to help you. You have a great day, and I'll see you next time.